Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm. We continue on with our derivation. What is sensorality? Sensorality is spatiality. What does sensorality stabilize? Continuing on, didn't edit the last episode because, well, didn't feel like it and I don't have constitutional rights. Continuing on, looking for the direct iteration of the syllability of sensorality. Variosity variates. What is variation to sensation, right? That's kind of the logic to derive how many senses do you have? How much can sensation differentiate? Differentiation is variation. Sensorality is seriosity. A sense of a version, or a sense is a version of information processing, right? We have sight, smell, taste, touch. Right, you really have vision and touch. But again, nothing's touching, but everything's connected. But some sort of contact. Vision is different, but touch, taste is something touching your tongue or touching your olfactory cells for your smell. It's not well defined. But that is the logic. What is the variation of sensation? A sense is a version of information processing. Processing metabolizes. Version, variation. What is tension to dimension? So again, it's the clear, again, linguistically now that we've brought this insight, dimension has that unit of two thing at the front of it. Mention, M-E-S is not a word. Mention with a T, one iteration after is. And so tension and dimension are more of these, again, iteration elements. Right? Direction is what people say. Direction is what people mean when they say the word dimension. Dimensionality is tensionality. Tensionality is energetic. What is the diagonal of a triangle? Put a little short video up. You might be saying, Brad, there is no, right? You're thinking of connecting a vertice to another vertice, right? Is that a diagonal? Made you think there, didn't I? But again, clear linguistic similarity. Again, diagonal built on agony, agonality, diagonality. And then triangle. And so, again, that angle, what is an angle? It's some sort of iteration of agony. Again, not the emotional word, but the syllability contained within that word. Because remember, we have a set amount of sounds and base units, and we have to differentiate somehow. So if it rhymes, it's wrong. Shout out to fraudulent Eric Weinstein, who needs to go to prison. I'm not joking in any capacity. How I got online one day and just saw that random dude, and then you realize he's the money manager for Peter Thiel. And I can show you a video of Peter Thiel saying, you know, me and my other Stanford buddy from 20 to 30, everything we said was literally insufferable. And then you can look at Eric Weinstein right now today sitting on talk shows saying stuff like, good science will change your life, immediately talking about my research. And again, Eric, why is there the capacity to change, right? Why did you have that, movement potential or change potential, Eric? It's because you're a Looney Tune, dude. And you can just see this visceral hate and confusion through his whole life, especially with the UFO, UAP, non-human intelligence stuff, where it's like, I was wrong. Again, you can't. The only world you change is your own. And so good science wouldn't change your life, Eric, if you had any capacity to do any sort of research or science at any point in your whole existence. But I got online and I see him talking about my research one day, and it's like, cool, I still live at my parents' house. But a diagonal to a triangle, again, linguistically similar, and it pulls out your intuition. Essentiate, satiate. Complexion or completion is satisfying, right? Go on Reddit, oddly satisfying thread, and it's people completing simple things. But again, our logical renormalization, what is sensorality? It's some iteration of the syllability of essentiality and spatiality. Space is essential. Sensorality defies. Defiance defies. Sensorality is defiance. Defiance, finance. Exhaustion is depletion. Depletion, completion. Sensorality depletes competition. Or I have depletion, competition, not completion. Sensorality contemplates competition. Structure is a template. It is what it is a template. All right, and that's kind of, when we do that, you'll see a little comma on your screen. Again, if I decide to edit this one, But again, we're literally again iterating the syllability of sensorality directly into these word forms with these theorems. And so, again, it's directly the form of all resolutions. It's not the resolution itself, but it's the form of it. Common, comma. Sensorality is commality or commality. That's repeating the A, but just comma, and then you just put an L-I-T-Y at the end. In completing this word family with syllability, again, it's already reduced. We have to, again, averager. A censor is an averager. It's not some big complicated definition, it's one letter. But it's unique syllability. Commality, censors. Sensorality is a control center, right? Again, we're deriving structure of language, the control center. That's what we derived, literally. An interesting phrasing, right? I reserve the right is something you'll hear a lot of the times. I was going to do a reference to a song. I forget what it is. But reserve the right, right? Is that R-I-G-H-T-R-I-T-E? That is still right there present in my mind. But again, it's some sort of demonstration or consequence of this iteration function that we are building up to show the resolution of sensorality, right? What is sensorality? That is an open question. And then once we derive the natural definition, it will be resolved. What do I have here? Wow, I can't read my own word. I just have seriosity, but that's the same thing. I literally can't read my own handwriting, but seriosity is serious, sensorality is seriosity. Serious is tense. Why did I just have the same thing? Or no, I have seriosity, then seriosity. Again, the direct iteration of the A to the E. Serious is tense. Is serious special? Velocity is variosity, right? Momentum is mass times velocity. That's correctly derived. People just haven't really understood velocity or mass, really. I mean, both. But mass doesn't change. Velocity changes. And there was a clip floating around. It's been articulated over my email several times. But when I'm talking about people becoming aware of my work over the past 10 years, and then even their public discussions, once you hear the right answer, you can't unhear it. And it just becomes, again, this, you put the blanket over the kid at Thanksgiving and you pull the blanket off of him and then everyone acts like he doesn't exist. It's like that, and then on top of it, you're just re-articulating the arguments that I've proven way worse than me, and then you've been told you can't directly acknowledge me, so you're like, oh, we still don't know what's going on. It's the most profound hell ever. But before all of this started happening, there was a specific clip of Sean Carroll. I'll try to find it, maybe if I decide to edit this or not. But I'm not situated in a place to put up the video. So maybe here. But it's a video of him, and it's funny. It's like he's at a conference or he's in a hotel room. And so it's like he's just in this white t-shirt, but it looks like he's done for the day. It's like a basketball player after the big game. He's at his press conference, just giving him the lowdown. But he articulates such a clear explanation of relativistic mass being complete nonsense, and to never say those words, and it makes no sense. And so another big sociological, historical phenomenon of when you guys became aware of my work, it is so clear throughout, again, this stuff, just like your public discourse, all of the fraud you guys commit, but the way you talk about science goes from that video of Sean Carroll, again, just directly articulating so well, and then it's like, oh, this super secret science team comes out of nowhere and is like, you guys can't acknowledge him no matter what. And you're like, whoa. And then you're like, nope, definitely not. But you can't unhear the right answer. And so it's just a good example of, we have a clear problem, then you hear the answer, but science team says nope, and you're just like, yep, nope. But then on a personal level, and even a sociological level, your guys' diction has changed tremendously since 2017. And so that's documented and obvious, but specifically that video, he does such a good job of articulating, what general relativity is, and that relativistic mass is an absolute nonsense BS, because your mass doesn't increase because your velocity increases. Your momentum does, right? Mass times velocity. And so, but velocity is variosity, right? Velocity has the capacity for change. Again, you might say, Brad, well, we've used the example, you can eat food and get heavier, exercise or burn calories and lose weight. The mass of a system changed, but mass is not, relativistic mass isn't real. And so Sean does a good job articulating that and then commits super fraud and needs to go to prison. What is hypothetical to theoretical? Right? Logically, people will say hypothetically, and other times theoretically. And they're logically using the same kind of function. The actual structure of the word's kind of interesting. Reticle, I thought that was going to be like rhetorical. I still think it is. Yeah, it is. I mean, it contains the syllability. So again, exactly how this iteration happens, again, it's all apparently obvious, because again, the universe isn't complicated. We're just showing you a derivation. But what is hypothetical to theoretical? Logically, they're used about the same. Sensorality is optimal differentiation. Speciality, infinite uniqueness. Then sensorality, finite uniqueness. Now sensorality is optimal differentiation. Again, showing you the steps, but the final reduction is undeniable, and it produces and stabilizes the definition. Individuals are unique, not realization, right? You're a little kid, you think, oh, my parents have it figured out, or you don't. Frankly, I never really did, but, understanding people are human. But a realization that I would say everybody has is like when you get older, you realize there's not somebody out there that knows everything or knows what to do, or, just because they're in the government doesn't mean they have some things figured out. So I'd say that's like a universal realization that everybody kind of has just growing up. But in reality, all realization is not unique. Individuals having the realizations are, in the same way, right? You can figure out a way to drive to UDF. I have a UDF down that way. And to figure out which way to go, whether I'm using MapQuest when that was still around, Google Maps on my phone right now, me personally understanding how to get to UDF, that is realization. But does the broader world know how to get to UDF in general? Yep, they can get on Google Maps too and also have that information. So the individuals are unique, but the actual independent moments of realization are not. A and E being the fundamental inversions of all vowels, of all resonance, being the fundamental differentiation of all language, independent of one language, is a realization that everyone can have immediately by looking at the geometry of the letters. And so finally, sensorality realizes. And so that is where we're at today, continuing on with our derivation, looking to stabilize our definition with a complete reduction of the syllability of sensorality. My rights continue to be violated. It is profoundly and extensively illegal. I just sat here and was wondering, how do I renew my Medicaid? Because, well, I don't have constitutional rights and my life fucking sucks. So I continue to emphasize that I do not have constitutional rights. It has ruined my life. It has ruined my health. It has absolutely destroyed my ability to have a career and or a family. It's never going to change. There's just nothing in the world that can make people behave. So I continue to document that as rigorously as possible. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.